Thursday, Friday. What day is it? Friday. I'm pretty sure it's Friday. I have absolutely no idea. I'm pretty sure it's Friday, though. So happy Friday. We're going to go with it. And if I'm wrong, let me know. I'm pretty sure the microphones are working today. Somebody say, hey, if you can, 5x5 is always a good one for me because I know that means you can hear me. And then we will just jump into a whole bunch of random stuff. I will tell you right now, there is a couple different breaking news moments in this live stream, but there's nothing life-shattering, earth-shattering, life-altering that you must be here for. So if you have something else to do, I fully understand, because you guys know here that what we're going to do is just have a conversation, and we're going to squirrel all over the place, up, down, left, right, all around, whatever. The first thing I would like to mention to you guys is I love you, number one. Number two, I was watching... It was either a Facebook reel, Instagram story, or a TikTok. I have no idea. I watch a bunch of different stuff just to see what's going on around the globe, right? And I came across this video of this younger female. It was like a podcast. I have no idea who these two people were. I didn't care enough to save it and share it, but I wanted to talk to you about the conversation that they had. So it was a younger girl of an ethnic descent, no clue what, and an older white man having this conversation on this podcast style thing. And they were talking about the fact, they were talking about voting and presidents and stuff like that. And the girl made some kind of comment about people who don't know how to vote and people who are stupid or whatever else. And then the guy made a comment and he said, the way we vote should be how we elect our president, something along those lines. He said, how old do you have to be president? And she said 35. And he said, well, then you shouldn't be able to vote until you're 35. And she said, I don't agree with that. I think it's a stupid idea. It's the dumbest idea. You're trying to tell me that people under 35, my age, because clearly not me, but her, she was under 35. She said, you're telling me that I don't have the right to vote because I'm not old enough to be president. And then he says to her, why do you think you have to be 35 before you can be president? And she said, she started to say, heard herself giving the information that was exactly what he wanted to hear, and then stopped herself from speaking. And he was like, no, finish the sentence. Because she went to say, you can't be president until you're 35 because you're not old enough to understand the politics. You haven't been around long enough to understand the world, and you don't really know enough before 35 to make informed decisions. But she stopped herself from saying it because it gave his point of, well, maybe if you're under 35, you shouldn't be allowed to vote. It kind of gave it a little ass behind it, right? And I've been thinking about it all day long. I voted for the very first time in my entire life in the last election on November 5th. I voted for President Trump, the first time I've ever voted in my life, and I voted for President Donald J. Trump. And I was, at the time, 42 years old. I turned 43 in January. I'll be 44 in just a couple months. But I was 42 years old. And it's the first time I ever voted. And I didn't vote in my 20s because I wasn't paying attention to politics. I had no clue what was going on. I wasn't doing anything big in life, I'm going to say. Like, I feel like my 20s were just, you know, you kind of like effed off, like you didn't really do much in your 20s. At least I didn't. And I'm fully aware of that. I'm much more successful, stable as a grown ass woman than I was as a 20-year-old who just wanted to have fun and whatever else. And if I had voted in my 20s, I would have been that person who voted for the vibe, who voted for the one who looked cool, sounded cool, and talked in words that I liked, but didn't really say anything, you know, like a Democrat, because at that time, that's what I would have been. And so when they're having this conversation, I can understand from the 35-year-old or under girl's side of why she would feel not okay with the fact that he's saying if you're under 35, you shouldn't be able to vote, because it does feel like you're taking away the ability for a vast majority of American citizens to have a say in how their country is run. But look at the vast majority under 35. And if you're under 35 and you're here, I'm clearly not talking to you because you obviously have some brain cells to rub together. If you're over watching The View right now or out in the street protesting or waving a flag that's not the American one, then you're part of the problem under 35. Hell, even over 35. But anyway, so the people under 35 right now, a vast majority of them are the ones who want to vote for a vibe, which is why they just pushed through the Muslim Democrat option in New York City. He won the primary there. And now he's going to go up against Eric Adams as an independent, which is interesting to me because Eric Adams was Democrat before. He's not running as Republican, but he's running as independent because I think he knows that as a Democrat, he wouldn't have had a chance because this Muslim guy came in and for some reason is able to brainwash the people of New York City, whatever. Anyway, but most of the people under 35 these days, based off what you see on social media, TikTok, everything else, they don't have the knowledge of life to make informed voting decisions, whether it's for a small section, right? Meaning like your local council, your city, then it's your county, your state, and then your president. A lot of people don't have enough information to make informed decisions. Even at my age, I don't know enough about certain politics to make informed decisions, but I knew enough about the presidential one because I was in that joker. Like I was paying attention like crazy to that one, right? But when you have so many people given the right, to have a voice, you want those voices to make sense and to be heard and to be something that's going to make America great again, not send it down the crapshoot, right? And when the girl was talking about how you should be able to vote at any age, I understand constitutionally that I should agree, but as somebody who has been through the stages of life between being a dumbass, understanding I'm a dumbass, and trying very hard now not to be a dumbass, it's hard for me to go, yeah, at 18, you totally should let me vote on things. I knew exactly what I was doing. You should give me a gun. You should give me all these things. You should let me do all these things. Because at 18, I was dumb as dirt, right? And a lot of 18-year-olds really are. And it's just it was a very interesting little video that I saw, and it made me think about things a little bit different. But I am still 100% for constitutional rights of being able to vote at a certain age and your 2A, your 1A, all of it. First Amendment, Second Amendment, everything, right? But it's just interesting with what's going on in New York City. It shows, in my opinion, what happens when younger people are allowed to vote. And I know it sounds wrong. I fully understand how it sounds, but it makes sense. And I know for those of you in here, it makes sense to you too as well. Because right now I see TikTok videos of 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds who are crying because they're having to work an 8-hour shift at Starbucks and they can't handle it. And I'm like, baby boy, like I had a 2-year-old and I was working 3 jobs to make sure that when she was a little bit older, I didn't need to work nearly as hard and I could spend time with her. You know what I mean? Like we are not the same. My generation and the newer generations, we are not the same. There's a complete different level of work hard and a complete different level of willingness to succeed and willingness to fail, I guess you could say. Nowadays, it seems like nobody wants to fail. Therefore, they're not even putting any effort to succeed because you have to be willing to take the risk to fail if you plan on succeeding. If not, you just sit there with your thumb up your ass and do nothing, live in your mom's basement, live off the government, bitch and moan on TikTok about having to work an 8-hour shift, complain because now Starbucks is making you wear a uniform, all these different things. Anyway, that was the most random thing that I want to talk to you about today, although there are other random things, obviously. Now we will jump into the stuff I really had to talk about now that we're almost 9 minutes into me rambling about the one specific thing. So what I want to mention to you, numerous things. Number one, about an hour ago, major breaking, in another 6-3 ruling, the Supreme Court sides with religious families seeking to opt out of LGBTQ curriculum in schools. That is huge. This was on Fox News, obviously. I'm not going to play the audio because the audio here kind of sucks. You won't be able to really hear it anyway. But the Supreme Court has ruled that if you are of religious beliefs that you don't want your children learning about the Rainbow Coalition, you are able to opt your child out of that. What I feel like is that if teaching LGBTQ stuff in schools is what people want, you should have to opt into that, not opt out of it. It shouldn't be a thing. My personal opinion. I have plenty of gay friends. I know plenty of gay people, all this other stuff. This is nothing against gay people. I mean, it's not like they have straight awareness, or straight month or whatever else, or straight class. Well, I don't know why we need to learn LGBTQ stuff. It does not make sense to me personally. I feel like that's the kind of class, instead of opting out of it, it should be something you opt into. It should be like an after school club that if you want to learn about it, go ahead and sign your name up, go hang out over there and learn about it. But during your school hours, you need to learn about American history, world history, math. You need to learn about science. You need to learn about the Constitution. You need to learn about like your civics class. You need to learn how to sew. You need to learn how to cook. You need to learn how to do your taxes. You need to learn how to garden. You need to bring back everything they have taken out of the schools over the last 20 or 30 years, because the stuff they've taken out over the last 30 years, 20, 30 years has really caused this country to be, kind of pansified, right? And then you add in the stuff to like pansify them even more, and here we are. Anyway, so I thought that was great that the Supreme Court ruled on the side of religious families that they can opt out of LGBTQ curriculum. The next step is to get LGBTQ curriculum out of schools, because my personal opinion, it does not belong there. That is not something that belongs in a school class at all. That's me. Everybody else can feel a little bit differently about it if they want. Now, I want to show you this. This is in New York City. This is Muslim praying in New York City. This is not a race thing. I'm just saying. Now, there have been numerous times in New York City and other large cities where Christians, Jewish people, other religions have tried to have this massive group of prayer or whatever else, and they've been turned down. You're supposed to have some sort of permit to do these things. So how come this one was approved? How come this one is allowed? And if this was not approved and allowed and not permitted, how come this shit was not shut down? Just out of curiosity, why is it okay for... This is going to sound some type of way. It is what it is. Why is it okay for religions that have made their way into our country to supersede the religions that our country is based off of? Right? Does that make sense? I know that makes sense. Whether you are religious or not, you have to still step back and look at the things and go, well, the United States, one nation under God, not one nation under Allah, not one nation under whatever else. Like it's one nation under God, and it's a specific set of religion, Christianity, and that's what we in the United States are based off of. And instead, you have every other religion getting a free pass on everything. I remember when I was in school, if you were to wear certain shirts or stuff that had, God or Jesus or anything like that on it, you were asked to change your shirt or turn it inside out. But you could wear other things that were not Christianity based, and it was okay. And I think it's because people are too worried about hurting feelings or pissing people off or being labeled as, what's the right word? I don't know. Because when it's religion, it's not racist. What is it when it's religion and you're like not against it, but don't want, I don't know what to call that. I know there's a word, can't think of it to save my life right now, but that's what seems to be happening right now in New York City. You have the guy who is, which I don't even care about his name. I know his name, but it's not the point. Where is he? Zohran Mamdani, whatever. You have it being okay for him and his religion and everything else to, the word invade New York sounds wrong, but it feels like the right word, and I know how it sounds, and people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, but it is what it is. But that's what it feels like, right? But you're not allowed to be religious like that in the streets if you're a Christian. Anyway, I don't know. It was a thing, and I saw it and it bothered me, and so I figured I would just mention it to y'all. Now, I am going to let you hear this, because this is the guy in New York. This is Zohran Mamdani. This is his first interview after winning the primary in New York, and I'm going to try to make it so you guys can hear this. I want you to listen to this, because even if I did not know who this man was, I had never seen him before, never heard him before, didn't know what he was running for. If I watched this, I would immediately go, he is fake as hell. Like, he is so fake. He is lying through his teeth. Everything about him feels slick. You know what I mean? Like the wrong kind, like not slick, like you smooth, but like slick, like snaky, whatever. But I want you to hear what he had to say here, and you'll know exactly what I mean. Hold on.
And I know that Jewish New Yorkers, like Jewish Americans, are fearful in this moment of anti-Semitism. They're fearful, especially after the horrific attacks that we saw in Washington, D.C. and in Boulder, Colorado. And they're fearful also in conversations that I have heard myself about life in this city. I spoke to a Jewish man in Williamsburg not too many weeks ago who told me about the fact that he now locks the door that he used to close, that he used to keep open for years because of a fear of who may come in. I spoke to a friend of mine after October 7th who told me about going to his synagogue for Shabbat services and hearing the door open behind him and turning around with a tremor going up his back, not knowing who was walking in and what they wished for them. And ultimately, it's through the conversations I've had with Jewish New Yorkers that I have developed a proposal for the Department of Community Safety that would include an 800% increase in funding for hate crime prevention programs. Because ultimately...
Okay, so the stories he told, bullshit. I don't believe either one of them at all whatsoever. He's full of crap. He is absolutely full of crap. But when he says he's going to do an 800% increase for hate crime prevention, but at the same time, this is the man who wants to let people out of jail. He wants to lower sentencing on minor offenses, he calls it, which would be the beating, the raping, the whatever else has been going on in New York a lot. All these things. He wants to make it so that New York is probably one of the most unsafe places for regular people, unless you are, according to him, Muslim, Jewish, LGBTQ, or maybe Hispanic. I haven't really heard him talk about Hispanics. Then he wants you to have as much protection as possible. But for actual, like everybody in general, not so much. He's trying to take away as many protections as possible for people and basically empty out the jail cells and put everybody back in the streets. You're going to definitely need your 800% increase in hate crime budget, but just in budget in general. He's the same person who wants to defund the police. How are you going to raise 800% for hate crime prevention while also defunding police? You do realize you need the police to keep this, like, I don't understand. It does not make any sense to me. And he is two-sided. That's what it feels like. He says one thing out of here, but then says something else out of here. Freedom says, I agree with you 1,000%, Squirrel Tribe. Just like burning our flag and showing another as the new flag of USA does not cut it. Retired conservative Christian. Speaking of flags. Oh, hold on. Speaking of flags, I got it here. I know I saved it. Where is it? I know I saved it. Tell me I saved it. Y'all, you know how this works. I save so many things to show y'all, and then I can't find the dang things. And no, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, I did not save it. Some days, Michelle, I swear, my brain does not do what it's supposed to do. Son of a beach. There's this person in New York City who is climbing on a street post, light post, whatever. And there's a ton of flags coming out of this post. There are Palestinian flags, LGBTQ flags, there are American flags, everything else. And this person climbs up this pole and starts ripping down the American flags and only leaving up the Palestinian flags and the LGBTQ flags, but rips down every single American flag and throws it onto the ground. In New York City. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, the second you see somebody rip down an American flag, I 100% believe in ass stomping. I'm just saying, that's just me. That's just me. But I do have violent tendencies, which is also why I have a bail fund set up, because I have violent tendencies. And I know this. And there are certain things that will, to use the left's word, trigger me. And watching people rip down an American flag and throw it on the ground and then set fire on it or stomp on it or tear it up or do whatever else. Oh, that's a trigger, honey. Like, please understand. Anyway, what's crazy is that person was allowed to do this. Tear down all the American flags. We've seen all the videos of them burning American flags, waving Palestinian flags, waving this, waving that, and nothing happens to them. These three kids here in Atlanta, 3 teens were arrested for ripping a rainbow pride flag in Atlanta and have been charged with obstruction, criminal damage to property, conspiracy, and prowling. They are also facing the possibility of hate crime charges. If convicted as a felony, they would be sentenced to more than 10 years behind bars for ripping up a fucking rainbow flag. Yet if you rip up the American flag, you get a standing ovation from the left. What the crap? That is all. That is all. That is all. They went on a manhunt for these 3 kids because they ripped up a gay pride flag. Yet we are doing nothing to the people ripping up the American flag and setting it on fire. Since when does the rainbow flag supersede the stars and stripes? That's all I want to know. Since when is this okay? Since when is this allowed? Since when is this legally okay to go after these 3 kids for ripping up a fake flag, but not going after the ones who are ripping up the actual flag of our country? Okay? Okay. Because it's just, like I said, certain things, and I feel like that Arthur meme, if you've ever seen it, where he's just standing with his fist by his side, just like, oh, that's me, 100%. Oh, good. I was hoping a truck would park right next to me for no apparent reason. The other thing I wanted to show you here, breaking, this came out a couple hours ago as well, is, you know, the glare there. Anyway, breaking, SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States, has ruled, and the radical left district judges are no longer able to enact nationwide injunctions. Also huge, just FYI. On top of that, we have the Alligator Alcatraz will officially be open here in Florida. They're saying by Tuesday. Today is Friday. It is Friday. So in just a couple of days, you've got DeSantis standing here talking. Who is this? Steve explores Alligator Alcatraz with DeSantis. The visual is awful because I'm like got crappy service right now. Hopefully y'all can still hear me and whatnot. But according to Governor Ron DeSantis, he said by Tuesday, we'll be able to have an intake of criminal aliens. If a criminal alien were to escape, nowhere to go, swamp and alligators for 50 to 60 miles. I think that's hilarious. I think when I first heard it, I'm not even gonna lie. When I first heard that they were building this Alligator Alcatraz and a moat with alligators, I thought it was a joke. I was like, all right, this is a little bit of like Princess Bride meets Monty Python and the Holy Grail meets Spaceballs, like all these different funny things that you could possibly throw together. Because you picture just this island with a bunch of illegal immigrants, whether they're Hispanic or Black or Chinese or Asian or whatever the words, white looking, whatever. I don't care what they look like. If you're an illegal immigrant, get your little ass inside the moat area. It was just crazy to me thinking of looking at all these people in the middle of an island and just a bunch of alligators growing around in circles. It's like the cartoons that you see where the guy is stuck on a little island in the middle of the ocean and it's just sharks going around, or he's in a lake and it's a bunch of alligators going around and he's sitting there with one last coconut to eat. Like that's what I keep picturing. And I really hope it's that way. And I'm awful, and I know I'm awful, but I don't think they should get AC in the summer, and they shouldn't get heat in the winter. You know why? Because it's so effing expensive for us here as taxpayers and American citizens to afford air conditioning and heat. There's no way that our tax money should be giving it for free to people who are here illegally. If you want to give somebody some AC in the summer and some heat in the winter, go help the homeless individuals that are American citizens that are out on their ass because the Biden administration made it so hard for people to keep a job, jab, jab, or afford a place to live because inflation was a bitch. Y'all, in the tiff, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. The reason I brought that up, my house is 2,600 square feet. It's not a big house. It's not a big house. And I have always, my whole entire life, I've set my AC to a certain temperature at night and during the day in the summer. It goes down to 68 degrees at night because if it's hot, I cannot sleep. It is not a comfortable thing. Perimenopause kicking in with hot flashes. Definitely can't do that. We got to be at 68 degrees with as many fans flowing as possible near me, right? During the day, I don't want it to be uncomfortable in my home. I know I could wear less clothing. Don't want to. I like to be covered. It's kind of, you've noticed, you've never seen the tatas, right? They stay covered up. We're wearing t-shirts and pants and whatnot. I don't like being like half naked, even at home. I keep my AC in the summer 75, 74. We're not going past it because it's too damn hot and titty sweat is not cute on anybody. I don't care who you are. So we keep it at 75, 74-ish. My bill for the last month, $322 for an electric bill. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? 2,600 square feet. That's it. It's just one big ass open room. Mostly the doors stay open. It's not like we're doing anything crazy. So to pay that much in June, knowing that July is going to be hotter and then August is going to kick our entire ass, like I'm just so much effing money. And that's cheap. That's cheap for a lot of other people. In California, when we were in Nashville, our friend Tristan, her friend Lewis lives in California in something that's maybe 1,000 square feet, she said, and his electric bill was over $600. Over $600 for like 1,000 square feet because it costs so much to use electricity in California. Yet then the push during the Biden administration was still everybody needs to go electric everything. You can't have electric lawn equipment anymore. You can't have gas powered whatever. You have to have electric this. You can't have gas powered stoves in New York. You got to have electric. You can't have gas heaters in New York. You got to have electric. And then they wonder why nobody can afford electricity because it's so effing expensive. You've got so many people using it. No grids being built to take care of it. It's just a whole clusterfuck. It's just crazy. So anyway, back to the Alligator Alcatraz. They don't need air conditioning. All right. That's how I feel about that. Anyway. Woosah. And it's fine. All right, we got a lot of stuff here. How long have we been doing this? 25 minutes? We can go a little bit more. The other fun thing, where is this? Oh, yeah, no, this is interesting. This has nothing to do with politics, but it has something to do with the fact that if this man continues to live after this, I'll be very surprised. So for those of you who like baseball, which I do like baseball, I will admit, I've been an Atlanta Braves fan forever. You know, back in the Chipper Jones days, you had to, and whatever else. And then now, just whoever. I don't really care anymore on what team is what. I just like baseball. It's fun to watch. I prefer softball. Girls, right? Anyway, not like that, but because my daughter played softball. The Tampa Bay Rays, I don't know if you've heard this, Tampa Bay Rays Wander Franco found guilty, ready, of sexually abusing a minor after getting approval from the child's mother. So this is the guy, if you can see him, he looks skeezy anyway. I don't know. I see his face and it looks punchable to me. But it says here, prosecutors say the girl's mother was paid tens of thousands of dollars and the child was flown by helicopter to his home, you know, do it ritzy style. Franco will avoid spending any more time in jail as long as he meets certain conditions that were given to him by a Dominican judge. This is according to Reuters. The girl's mother was served a hefty 10-year prison sentence after being convicted of child sex trafficking in the Dominican Republic. The relationship took place in the Dominican Republic when the girl was 14 years old. The Major League Baseball star signed an 11-year, $182 million contract with the Rays in 2021. Let me explain something here. The mother got 10 years in jail for selling her child to this man, and the man got nothing for spending thousands of dollars to fly in a 14-year-old to have sex with. Hello? What? Is it because he has money? Is it because he has a dick? Like, why is he not in trouble and the mother is? I mean, the mother clearly should be, you know, I'm thinking Handmaid's Tale here and a wall and whatever else. If you've seen it, you know, that's where she belongs. To do that to your child, I don't, bail fund. But for him to just nothing. And the mother's going to jail for 10 years. They're not going to like cut off his balls, castrate him, eunuch, none of that stuff. They're just gonna, does he get to still keep playing ball? Well, if the Tampa Bay Rays are like, nah, it's cool, come on, bro, they didn't put you in jail, you got a really good arm, we need you to come back. I'm just saying. It is absolutely disgusting. Now, in terms of that, I would like to mention to you, if I can find this part, because I had to save it and I save way too many things and everything kind of starts to blend together. DeSantis just did something I think is amazing. Are you ready? This is amazing. I do love my governor. The new Florida law that allows for the death penalty for adults who rape children under the age of 12 is now in effect. Let me be on a jury. I will sign up for every jury that something like this is anything against children like that. Please let me be on the jury. I will tell you that I will be partial and right in that partial, like I won't make judgments and I will fix my face so that you have no idea that I am condemning you to hell in my brain. Right. And then I will 100% vote for the death penalty. A lot of people don't agree with it. A lot of people don't believe in taking a life. Do you need firing squad? I will pull the trigger. Please understand. You touch a child in any inappropriate way like that, you don't deserve to breathe anymore. My taxpayer dollars do not need to be spent keeping you alive and well fed and housed and a roof over your head and all this other stuff. At all. At all. Firing squads are a thing. They brought them back in South Carolina. They should bring them back everywhere. I will stone you, pull a trigger, hold your head underwater, put a pillow over your face. I don't care. I've seen so many ways to end a life on, How to Get Away with Murder, that TV show, and all these other things. I'm down. I've got it. I can do it. It's for a cause. It's for a good cause. Anyway, that's that. What was the last one? Yeah, I don't really feel like doing the rest of these. Y'all, there's way more, but I don't want to do them. We'll do more tomorrow or maybe more later. But right now I got to go into Sam's Club. I sat at Ford for the last 2.5 hours waiting on an oil change. And so I got shit to do. So I got to go into Sam's Club, buy a whole bunch of toilet paper and paper towels because I don't have any more at home. And those things are definitely necessary. And then hang out with my husband, get a little date time together, maybe a early dinner, just the two of us, because guess what's important? In case y'all didn't know, I'm just going to let you know. Your marriage is important. You can't be good moms and dads or good Kevins and Michelles, because my husband's name is Kevin, if you're not focused on husband and wife first. So that's that. Anyway, I love you all immensely. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your Friday if I don't see you again. And if I do, hey, I'll tell you then later too. Have a good Friday. But until the next time, stay cool because it's hot as balls outside. And, pay attention to that electric bill because them jokers is getting high. Anyway, I love y'all. Goodbye. Adios.